Have you ever wished you could stop being affected by people? Not because you want to become cold, not because you want to stop caring, but because you are tired of letting one sentence, one silence, one change in someone's tone ruin your entire day. You tell yourself you should be stronger. You tell yourself it should not matter. But somehow, it still reaches you. And the worst part is not the pain itself. The worst part is the shame that follows. The voice that says, "Why are you like this? Why can't you just let it go? Why does it always come back to this?" Carl Jung would say, "The real question is not, why did they hurt me? The real question is, what part of me did they touch?" A short reply does not just feel like a short reply. It feels like rejection. A quiet room does not just feel quiet. It feels like abandonment. A small criticism does not just sound like feedback. It sounds like proof that you are not enough. Someone forgets to include you, and it does not just feel like an oversight. It feels like you do not matter. Someone pulls away without explanation, and it does not just feel like distance. It feels like you did something wrong. It feels like you are too much, or not enough, or both. This is the part most people miss. The event is small, but the meaning your mind attaches to it is old. Far older than this person. Far older than this moment. Jung believed the outer world often reveals the inner world. This does not mean your pain is fake. It does not mean people did not hurt you. It means the intensity of your reaction is pointing to something that was already there, long before this person, long before this moment. Think of it this way. If you press your finger lightly against healthy skin, you feel mild pressure, maybe a little discomfort, but nothing more. Now press that same finger against a bruise. Suddenly, the same amount of pressure creates a pain completely out of proportion to what actually happened. The pressure did not change, but the bruise was already there. That is what happens when someone's words reach too far inside you. They are not always the cause of the pain. Sometimes, they are only the pressure on a bruise that was already waiting. The world presses the bruise, but the bruise was already inside. But before we talk about the bruise itself, we need to talk about something Jung identified that makes the bruise so much harder to heal. He called it the persona. The persona is the mask you wear in public. The version of yourself you present to the world so that you will be accepted, respected, loved. It is not entirely fake. Parts of it are genuinely you. But other parts, the agreeable smile when you are actually furious, the calm voice when you are falling apart inside, the "I'm fine" when you are anything but, those parts are a performance. A carefully constructed image built from years of learning what kind of person gets to be loved and what kind of person gets left behind. Here is what Jung noticed. The more tightly you hold on to your persona, the more you need people to see you a certain way, the more devastating it becomes when they don't. Because when someone criticizes you, they are not just commenting on something you did. They are threatening the image you have spent years building to stay safe. When someone ignores you, they are not just being inattentive. They are withdrawing the validation and the persona runs on. And without that validation, the mask cracks. And underneath the mask is everything you buried. This is why people who seem the most confident on the outside are sometimes the most easily wounded on the inside. They are not confident. They are defended. And defense is not the same as strength. Jung called the deeper territory beneath the persona the unconscious. It is not just a place of forgotten memories. It is where your old fears, unmet needs, and grief continue to live when they have never been fully understood. And what remains unconscious does not disappear. It repeats. It reacts. It hears rejection where there may only be distance. It feels danger where there may only be disagreement. You are not overreacting. You are reacting to two things at once. What is happening now, and everything it reminds you of. The unconscious does not know the difference between then and now. It only knows the feeling. And when the feeling matches, it responds with everything it has been holding. So what do most people do when they realize they are too easily hurt? They try harder not to be. They build walls. They practice not caring. They tell themselves that other people's opinions do not matter. They meditate, journal, repeat affirmations, and sometimes it works for a while. But then one small thing happens. One unexpected comment. One unanswered message. One moment where they feel unseen. And it all comes back. The more you try to become untouchable, the more sensitive you become. Because now you are not only feeling pain, you are also fighting the fact that you feel pain. You are hurt by what happened, then ashamed that it hurt, then angry that you cannot move on, then exhausted by your own inner weather. One small moment becomes an entire storm, not because you are weak, because you are carrying something unfinished. And unfinished things do not wait quietly. They keep knocking. Jung had a name for the parts of yourself you buried. He called it the shadow. The shadow is not evil. It is not the worst of you. It is simply the part of you that was never allowed to exist. Think about someone who grew up in a home where anger was not allowed, where raising your voice meant losing love, where keeping quiet was the only way to stay safe. That child learned to bury their anger, to smile when they were hurt, to say it's okay when it was not, to shrink themselves to keep the peace. But the anger did not disappear. It moved underground, into the shadow. So now, as an adult, when someone criticizes them lightly, when a friend cancels plans without explanation, when a colleague takes credit for their work, the reaction feels enormous, disproportionate, embarrassing even, because they are not just reacting to what happened. They are reacting for every time they were never allowed to. Every "I'm fine, that was a lie." Every boundary they swallowed. Every moment they made themselves smaller so someone else could feel comfortable. That is the shadow speaking. Not to destroy you, but because it has been waiting for years to finally be heard. And the shadow does not only carry anger. It carries grief for the version of yourself you had to abandon. It carries longing for the love that was always conditional. It carries the child who learned too early that being real was dangerous. When you begin to understand your shadow, the reactions that used to embarrass you start to make a different kind of sense. They were never irrational. They were just unheard. Jung did not believe healing meant becoming cold. He did not believe strength meant feeling nothing. For Jung, real strength came from integration, the willingness to look at every part of yourself, including the parts you are most ashamed of, and say, "I see you. You belong here too." The part of you that is afraid of being abandoned. The part that still needs approval. The part that gets angry because it was never allowed to say no. The part that grieves quietly and calls it weakness. You do not become free by cutting these parts away. You have already tried that, and they keep coming back. You become free by finally listening to them. Because a wound that is heard does not have to scream anymore. A fear that is named loses some of its power over you. An anger that is acknowledged does not need to explode at the wrong person at the wrong moment. Integration is not about becoming someone different. It is about becoming more completely yourself. Jung called this entire process individuation. Not the path of becoming perfect, not the path of never being hurt again, the path of becoming whole. And wholeness looks different from what most people imagine. It is not a permanent state of calm. It is not immunity to pain. It is the ability to feel pain without being swept away by it. To be hurt without losing the thread back to yourself. To let someone's words land, really land, and still know who you are when the moment passes. You stop asking, "How do I make sure no one hurts me?" And you begin asking, "How do I stop abandoning myself when someone does?" That shift from protecting yourself from the world to protecting your relationship with yourself. That is where everything begins to change. This is not about 10 steps or a morning routine. It is about 3 honest practices that Jung's work points toward. The first, pause and ask a different question. The next time something small hits too hard, before you react, before you explain, before you defend, pause. And instead of asking, "Why did they do that?" ask, "What did this touch in me?" Not as a way to dismiss your pain, but as a way to understand where it is actually coming from. You may find that the person in front of you is only the most recent face of something much older. The second, get curious about your persona. Ask yourself honestly, what version of myself do I need people to see? Strong? Calm? Agreeable? Unbothered? And what happens inside me when someone sees through that version? When someone is not impressed? When someone does not respond the way the persona needs them to? That reaction, that crack, is the entry point. That is where the real work begins. The third, let one buried part speak. Find a quiet moment. Take out a piece of paper.
I hear you.
And write a
I see
letter
you.
from the part of you that never gets to speak. The part that is tired. the part that is angry, the part that is grieving something it was never allowed to grieve. You do not have to share it with anyone. You do not have to fix what it says. Just let it speak. Because often, the parts of us that cause the most pain in relationships are not the parts that need to be eliminated. They are the parts that have never once been listened to. Maybe the goal is not to become someone who never feels pain. Maybe the goal is to become someone who does not lose themselves every time pain arrives. People may still disappoint you. Their words may still sting. Silence may still feel heavy. Someone's indifference may still find a bruise. But when you know yourself deeply enough, when you have sat with your shadow, seen through your persona, and begun the slow work of coming home to yourself, their actions no longer become your identity. You can feel pain without becoming pain. You can be hurt without being destroyed. You can be moved without being swept away. The goal was never to become untouchable. The goal was always to become so rooted in yourself that even when you are touched, you do not lose the ground beneath your feet. And maybe that is what Jung meant when he said the privilege of a lifetime is becoming who you truly are. If this reached something in you, write in the comments. I return to myself.